Hari Om. Shall we start? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vakratunda Mahakaya. Koti Surya Samaprabha. Nirvikhnam Kurume Deva. Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Manojavam Marutatulyavegam, Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham, Vadatmajam Vanarayudamukyam, Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Pranams to our parents, pranams to Samasta Sadgurus, pranams to the Lord, pranams to all of you. Hari Om. So thanks to Asmiji and Lataji for standing in last 2 weeks with our official duties and travels. So it's good to have this continuity in this Brahma Yajna which we are doing, because one of the challenges which we face, an obstacle which we face in this journey, is the lack of continuity. In any study which we see, when there is a break or then there is a prolonged break, we find that it's very difficult, or sometimes we have to put in more effort to get back on track. So therefore, before beginning these sessions, I had requested Asmiji and Lataji and again, God's grace that yes, they're also available, so that we have this sessions going on every week. We will see this when we discuss more about Karma Yoga, especially with respect to practices and disciplines. So I have not seen any specific questions on this particular aspect. However, this is a topic, or this set of topics on Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, which we will discuss. These are topics where a lot of mananam is required. So in terms of learning also, there are 3 steps which we will see in detail. The first one is Shravanam, which we are all doing now in terms of listening. Not just listening, but it is defined as active listening. Active listening. Undisturbed, uninterrupted listening. Today's world is full of distraction. Added to that are these gadgets with all the apps and notifications, pop-up messages. And the human mind, the nature is that it is easily distracted. It is easily distracted. Arjuna himself will admit, when we look at the Bhagavad Gita, Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna. He himself admits. Chanchalam. The mind, it is referred to as a monkey. Because a monkey's nature is that it cannot sit idle. It cannot sit idle. That's the nature. It has to keep jumping, it has to keep moving. So the mind, the attribute or the property or the quality of a mind is referred to a monkey because the mind keeps jumping. So in listening also, if we observe, you are listening to my words now, or when you talk something, I'm listening to you. But the nature of the mind is such that the moment some words enter our mind through the ears, the mind start processing it. The mind start associating with something which we already know. It starts recalling that particular incident or talk or book which we read, and from there it jumps again. So therefore, this is a discipline which we will see in Upasana Yoga in terms of how to get the mind back, how to focus even on a simple aspect of listening, which is the first step which is required towards jnanam, towards knowledge. So, Shravanam, then Mananam. In terms of assimilating what we hear, thinking about, dwelling on that, discussing about it, clarifying the doubts. That's why I keep asking about there are any questions, because the teaching as per our shastras, that's why it is called teaching. It is always in the form of questions and answers. Whereas there's a major difference between preaching and teaching. Preaching is one way. There would be some certain concepts or values which are just given out by a learned person, and there is no room for questions or understanding there. Whereas right from the Bhagavad Gita, which we will analyze in detail, or which considered as a part of the Prasthanatrayam, or the Upanishads themselves, they are all in the form of questions and answers. Because the human mind seeks answers, right from that's why I referred to the situation of a child, which is where we also need to get back that level of inquisitiveness and courage to ask questions. The human mind needs answers. Therefore, we need to assimilate what we hear, come up with questions, clarify the doubts, and then go to the next step. So, coming back to the topic of Karma Yoga, which was briefly discussed last week. So, we looked at goals, purusharthas, and the means, which are the instruction, the shastras which are there, the framework which is given, the infrastructure which is given, the varna and ashrama dharma, or the schemes which are there, which will help us to achieve the goals. And then the next step is that what is the process I need to follow? Anything which we want to achieve, a goal in our professional life, in our personal life, requires these components, whether we realize them or not, whether we really give them these names of the instruction manual, the infrastructure which is required, or the conditions or the conducive environment which is required. And then there is a process, how to do certain things. So therefore, what we discuss in Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga is in terms of the process to achieve our goals. It is not something which is different. It is not something which is standalone. It is ultimately directed towards achieving our goals, which will help us to achieve our goals. Now, there are three obstacles generally. right? There are three obstacles. Imagine that you are given a mirror and say, okay, can you see your reflection in that, right? So we say, oh, it's not so clear. There's some dust over the mirror. We need to clean that, right? So this is one of the first obstacle which is there in terms of achieving our goal, which is known as malam, which is dirt. The second one, take the example of there is a body of water or a bucket of water, and there is an object which is placed at the bottom of that bucket. If the water is not clear, if there is malam, dirt in that water, we would not be able to see that object clearly, right? So that's one of the obstacles which is there. It's an unclear water. So that's the first obstacle, to see clearly. The second obstacle is that imagine that the water is clear, there is no dirt, but the water is not stable. The water is always moving. So even in an external body, there is wind which is blowing, or there is a current which is there in the water, because of which we are not able to see the object which is at the bottom of that bucket, the bottom of the body of water. This kind of an obstacle is known as vikshepam. Vikshepa means it is moving. The medium is not stable. The third obstacle is that imagine there is a net, a cover which is there, which could be completely opaque or a bit translucent. It is not completely transparent. There is a cover which is there on that body of water, on that bucket. This third obstacle is known as avaranam, or a cover which is there. So, three obstacles towards reaching our goal. Any goal, which is malam, vikshepam, and avaranam. So the process which is given to us in terms of karma yoga, upasana yoga, and jnana yoga is to tackle these obstacles, to get rid of these obstacles, so that when the obstacles are clear out of the way, we see our goal very clearly. You got my point? Our whole objective of this study is in terms of clearing. As I said earlier, even in terms of medicine or in the principle of Ayurveda, the first step given is in terms of preparing our body, because that itself is a major cure or a major step which is required for the medicine to act very, very effectively. So how are we going to address these obstacles, or the process of clearing these obstacles? So the first obstacle of malam can be addressed and tackled with karma yoga. The first obstacle of malam is tackled through karma yoga. The second obstacle of vikshepam is tackled through upasana yoga. And the third obstacle of avaranam is tackled or overcome through jnana yoga. Now we'll discuss bhakti yoga as well, but just to give a preliminary view is that though many of us would have seen it in different contexts about bhakti yoga being discussed as a separate discipline, once we discuss karma yoga, upasana yoga, jnana yoga, we will see that Bhakti yoga is not something different from these three yogas. It is embedded into Karma Yoga, in Upasana Yoga, and in Jnana Yoga. It is a sum total of all the three yogas. Right? So the process, which is known as the sadhana, right? And we as the sadhaka who are there to achieve the goal, which is known as the sadhyam. The goal is known as the sadhyam. Or a siddha is somebody who has attained that goal. So the sadhaka, through the process of sadhana, going towards the sadhyam. This is the whole process which is there. So I would like to go a little bit more deeper into what was discussed last week in terms of the Pancha Mahayajnas. So Karma Yoga in a nutshell is karma is action, but our Shastras define it as proper action. Otherwise, we will say that a thief who is there, who is considered doing that as his profession, as his means of earning a livelihood, will say that I am also doing the actions in a very planned manner, right? But our Shastras define karma as proper action, which is Vihita karma or Vaidika karma. Veda Vihita karma. That which is approved or prescribed as per our Vedas. That is the right definition of karma, which is proper action. And what is yoga? Yoga is proper attitude or the state of mind which we are in terms of when we are doing that karma. So we talked about the proper attitude is Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi. Because in karma, any action which we do, there is a result, which it produces a result. Right? Even in science, we say that. Every action has got a result, whether we see it immediately or not, pratyaksham, or which is something which happens later, a delayed result, but every action has got a result. Now, what contributes or what is defined as an action? Is it only kayikam, which is physical action? No, there is even manasam. In fact, actions of through the mind, which are done to the mind, especially japa, etc., has got much more power than kayikam karma. That's why at the end of any ritual which we do, we tell the sloka kayena vacha manasa indriyerva buddhi atmana eva buddhyatmanava prakrite swabhavad. Because we are doing so many actions starting from physical and then mental action. So the attitude which is required, I'm addressing that first, is in terms of Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. Because as human beings, again, we want to be in control. That's our nature. And therefore, we feel that the actions which we are doing is always with a goal in mind. Right? We are attending these classes. We are performing a certain action with a goal in mind. And we always expect and insist that the action which I am doing has to produce the result which I want or which I have in mind. Therefore, when it does not happen, yes, with the grace of the Lord and all blessings, most of the time we do achieve that, correct? But again, we attribute it to ourselves in terms of I did this, I did the planning properly, I studied well, therefore I got this. We attribute it to ourselves. Now imagine a situation where we need to go from point A to point B. All of us commute either to work or say going to a temple, right? Say I have a routine of going to my office every day by the metro, by the public transport. So what is my goal? My goal is to reach the office. By 8:30, I have to be in the office. Therefore, I plan. It's going to take me 30 minutes commute, a 5-minute or 10-minute walk to the metro station, another 5 minutes by bus from the end point to my office. Therefore, I give a buffer. I plan in such a way that, yes, I leave at 7:30, have a buffer of 10-15 minutes and reach my office before 8:30. This is what I do every day. That's my routine. I have accepted it. This is my embedded into my everyday routine. Now imagine on a particular day, I'm walking to the metro station at the origin station, and there's a friend who is coming or a colleague who is passing by in his Mercedes car and asks me, "Oh, where are you going? Oh, you're also going to the same office. I'm going in the same direction." There's a friend who is working in the same area. Let me offer you a lift. So my goal is to reach the office, but on that particular day, I go in my colleagues or friend's car, much more comfortable manner, and I reach there faster, right? And I enjoy that ride. Now, what happens to the mind the next day? That, oh, it would be good if I can have this every day. So that day, what has happened is that I have got to my goal in a much, in a faster way, in a much more comfortable way, which is better than the result which I had planned for. So when I get the metro on time, I reach the office on time, it is equal to the result which I wanted. If I get an alternate transport which is better and faster, the result is more than what I expected, what I planned for. However, on another day, there is a breakdown or there are certain delays on the way and I reach office only at 9 o'clock. So that is the result which is lesser than what I expected to happen. That is the third possibility. Was it because of me, the obstacle and the delay? No, it is due to an external factor. Or the fourth potential result is that, unfortunately, while walking, I slip. I have a sprain on my leg. I'm not able to go to the office. I had to be rushed to a clinic. I had to take 3 days of sick leave. It is a complete opposite result of what I had planned for, I had anticipated. I can blame that, okay, I slipped because of an obstacle which was there, I did not see properly, etc. I can blame it on somebody else. But the result is something opposite of what I wanted. Instead of getting to the office, I landed up in a clinic. So 4 types of results can happen for any action which we do. One is equal to what I wanted. Second is more than what I wanted. The third is less than what I wanted. And the fourth one is completely an opposite of what I wanted. So this is accepting what has happened, even if it is more than what has happened, or if it is less than what has happened, is known as prasada buddhi. Because in prasada, we do not analyze quality and quantity. That's why in temples also we say that you should never ask for a second serving of the prasada. Oh, this tastes very good. Or I'm feeling hungry, let me. Right? So prasada has to be accepted as it is. That is prasada. So the result also, when we are able to accept it, or we should be able to accept it, that is known as prasada buddhi, which is the real attitude of karma yoga. I do all the actions which are required with all the resources which I have to the best of my ability. I put my best foot forward, but then I should be willing to accept the result as it comes. Even if it is more, I should not then expect that additional. I should not expect my friend to come and pick me up every day in his car telling that, oh, I'm going to save half an hour. I could sleep for half an hour more, or I could do something else in the morning. Right? Accepting, even if when it happens more than what I asked for, that also is prasada buddhi, telling that, okay, this is a prasada from the Lord. This is a blessing from the Lord. And karma is in terms of the proper action. So coming to the Panchamaha yajnas, so we saw there are 5 yajnas. One is Deva yajna, which is in terms of actions towards the Lord, puja, japa, or a pilgrimage to the temple, to our Kuladevam. Second one is Pitri yajna. In terms of worshipping, taking care of our parents when they are there in this world, or the karmas which are required to be done for our forefathers when they are not in this world, the Pitri karma. Right? Whether it is the monthly or the Amavasya Tarpanam which are being done, which has to be done, or the Sraddham which has to be done. Right? That is the Pitri karma or the Pitri yajna. The third one is the Brahma yajna, also known as Rishi yajna or Veda yajna. What we are doing today is part of that. In terms of understanding, studying our scriptures, and now correlated with what we discussed in Varna and Ashrama Dharma, in terms of there is a responsibility for all of us, irrespective of our Varna Dharma or Varna Vyavastha, in terms of passing this knowledge on. There's a responsibility to study the basic requirement which is there in terms of whatever stotras or slokas which are required for our puja, for our nitya and naimittika karma, and then passing them on. So this is known as Brahma Yajna, regular Parayanam, Japam. Again, there are questions in terms of how much do we need to do or what should we do. We will analyze these. And then we have a responsibility in whatever small way possible in terms of teaching it to whomsoever possible, starting from children. Fourth one is Manushya Yajna. And the fifth one is the Bhuta Yajna. So Manushya Yajna is in terms of helping others, helping the humanity. In whatever capacity we are, there is at least one thing where I am better with respect to the people around me. And therefore, I have a responsibility in terms of helping somebody else because somebody has helped me to get to this position. That is Manushya Yajna. But one of the biggest, again, I always want to bring the context back into today's way of life, our own life, etc. I think this is one of the questions, referring to one of the questions which was raised earlier. One of the common misunderstanding which is there today is that can Manushya Yajna be a substitute to the other yajnas of Deva Yajna or Pitru Yajna? Because many times we hear this advice being given, or we conveniently take that advice in terms of telling that, let me just donate this to charity. I am happy in terms of donating this to charity rather than spending this money on going for a pilgrimage or spending this money on certain yajnas to be done. The short answer to this is that none of these yajnas are a substitute for the other. All the 5 yajnas are our responsibility in terms of the process of Karma Yoga, again, to achieve our goals. The extent to which we may do each of this will vary depending upon what? Depending upon our Varna Vyavastha and Asrama Vyavastha, always correlated to that. Depending upon whether I am a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, and depending upon what stage I am in, am I a Brahmachari, am I a Grihastha, am I a Vanaprasthi or am I a Sannyasi, both these will determine the proportion or the type of action which I need to do within these 5, the Pancha Maha Yajna. It sounds a bit complex, but this is an exercise which when we were doing our classes here, we initiated in terms of understanding, just like a self-appraisal, in terms of understanding what am I really supposed to do. We'll see this in the Bhagavad Gita itself, where Arjuna comes back to this point again and again and again, asking Krishna, telling that you told me to do that jnana yoga is better. Now why are you pushing me to do karma? This confusion will continue to be there, and therefore the whole purpose of this study is to give clarity about mama dharma. What is my dharma? What am I supposed to do? So the whole process is, there are 5 yajnas to be done. What I need to do depends upon my varna dharma and my current ashrama, because the ashrama there is a change which happens in our life. So Manushya Yajna is required in whatever way we can do, but it is not a substitute. That's why even when we talk about pujas, about the rituals, the family traditions which are there, if we really analyze, we would have been told by our parents and forefathers or our acharya saying that there is a minimum amount of puja which we need to do in our home. Yes, we go to temples, we go to our Kuladevam, that is also required. However, there is a minimum amount of puja or prayers which needs to be done at home, starting from the daily prayer, or could be an annual puja which needs to be done. Right? And Bhuta Yajna, again, it's a huge topic which is very much relevant in today's world. There is a COP28 conference summit which is happening in Dubai as we speak. World leaders are concerned today, corporations are concerned today about what is happening in the environment. Yes, who is responsible for that? All of us are responsible for that. We talk about climate change, we talk about the effect of those actions of what we have done, what we are doing, how it is affecting the world, and the concern that, forget about future generation, whether we ourselves would be able to withstand the results from the environment is a huge concern today. So therefore, our Shastras has given guidance, continue to give us that guidance in terms of how should I treat the environment. Bhuta Yajna is all about that in terms of all other beings other than humans. So for fellow human beings, Manusha Yajna is being given, whereas for all other beings, living and sort of or supposedly non-living beings, is addressed through Bhuta Yajna. Starting from the offering of rice or food which we offer to the crow or any other animal which is there around us, to the plants, just protecting them itself is a yajna. Protecting them itself is a yajna. Right? So this is where the Panchamaha yajnas comes. So the whole purpose or the attitude which we need to have is in terms of para upakaram. So there is a saying which says paropakaraya vahanti nadyaha, paropakaraya duhanti gavaha, paropakaraya phalanti vrikshaha, paropakarartham idam shariram. The bodies of water which are there is for the sake of others, for life to be sustained. Gavaha, the cows which are there to give milk, which again sustains. Vrikshaha, in terms of giving fruits, right? And therefore, the shariram which has been given, the medium which has been given to us is also in terms of to be of service to others. Yes, we need to achieve our goals. We will see that in terms of the aspect of taking care of our body itself has been prescribed in the Vedas, in our Shastras, because that is the medium. Our goal is to attain moksha. Our goal is to have that knowledge. But for that also, I need this physical body. I need to maintain this physical body in a good condition so that I am able to utilize that, and through that, I reach my goal. So, karma in terms of sattvika karma, right? So, karma also can be classified into three. One is sattvika karma, which is prescribed by the Shastras, also known as nishkama karma. Nishkama karma means something which is given to me as my duty, which I do not look at the pain or pleasure which it gives to me. Suppose this is my duty to be done. So again, relating to a job description which is there, this is what I'm supposed to do because I have a goal. I'm told that this is part of my job description. I've signed up for that. Therefore, I do it. I accept it without further questioning. Right? So I do not know. So suppose you are prescribed to say that, please chant this 108 times every day. And it's part of your duty to do that. As part of your Sandhya Vandanam, you have to chant Gayatri Mantra 108 times. So I accept it. Based on my ashrama and my varna, this is what is prescribed for me. I accept it and I do it without looking at the additional effort or pain which I have to go through for doing that. So that is a nishkama karma. What is the purpose of this? It is again for our own inner growth, our own spiritual growth. And it is dharma and moksha pradhanam. So sattvika karma, nishkama karma is dharma and moksha pradhanam. Whereas the second type of karma is rajasa karma, which is sakama karma, where there is more action which is there. Right? Which is more in terms of what type of goal? In terms of my dharma and artha pradana. So sattvika karma is dharma and moksha pradhanam, and the rajasa karma is in terms of artha and kama pradhanam. It is also known as sakama karma. For certain goals, I need to do certain action. Again, it is also a vihita karma because the Vedas are giving me the guidance to achieve my goal of artha and kama. But whatever I do it as prescribed in the Vedas, or the karma kanda of the Vedas gives me certain prescribed actions which are rajasic in nature, but which are more towards the initial goals of artha and kama. How does it contribute to my ultimate goal? It does contribute because even in that action, I do only Veda Vihita Karma. I do it in such a way that it does not harm others, it does not harm other people, it does not harm the environment. And therefore, with that attitude, it helps me towards the Parama Purushartha of moksha. It leads to spiritual growth, but in a limited way as compared to Sattvika Karma. Do we have a choice there? Yes, 100%. I have a choice in terms of what type of job I need to take. Is it a job which is going to earn me the maximum amount of money in a minimum time, which supposedly can hurt others, which supposedly or potentially can hurt the environment? I have a choice. And then the third type of karma is tamasa karma or nishiddha karma or adhama karma. And if we analyze, we will find that these can fall under adharma also, which will take away from our goal of moksha. So therefore, an analysis is required. Right? There's a question which comes back to us in terms of telling that how do I know that what I am doing is right or wrong? Right? So therefore, one of the methods, even in terms of telling that, starting from our words which are there, starting from our thoughts, because as we think, so we become. It starts from that. What I am speaking is starting from my thoughts, right? So even in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord will say that in terms of telling that, what are the qualities of speech which are there? It's very well defined. He says, Anadvega karam vakyam. Our speech should be in such a way that it should not be hurtful, even if something which we have to correct somebody, telling that, oh, I think that this needs to be corrected, this person is not going the right way. Anything which we speak, it should not agitate the other person, it should be pleasant to them, it should be useful to them. Right? So all the actions, if we classify them, if we're able to analyze and classify them, is this a sattvika karma? Is this a rajasa karma or a tamasa karma? These are things which will help us. First of all is analysis, then the understanding, and then we would be able to look at how can we make sattvika karma more predominant. How much can we increase that? Does my current ashrama help me to do that? Right? So as a grihastha, I have a responsibility to take care of the family and the society. Right? Because you have seen that it is the grihastha's duty to take care of the brahmacharis, vanaprasthis, and sannyasis. All are required in the society. So therefore, I need to earn. Therefore, it will be the karmas which I am doing when I am a grihastha there will be more of rajas in that. Right? But How much can I do? What type of karmas can I do? Again, we go back to the Shastras for that. So what are the benefits of this? So anything which we do, ultimately we come in terms of the return on investment. What am I getting by doing this, by following this? So the first benefit of Karma Yoga is Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi, right? How do we attain this? Because by analyzing this, we are able to prioritize. Okay, in this particular ashrama, this is what I need to prioritize. Our inclinations. So this is where we find that all these prescribed pujas or rituals which are given, or disciplines which are given in terms of telling that wake up early before sunrise, have a bath, etc., etc. All these things are leading towards that. We would be able to prioritize, and also earning punyam. So this is what we say, that you will get punyam by doing this. At least that's an incentive. So we saw from moving from a guna shudra, in terms of at least become a guna vaishya and then become a guna kshatriya, so that ultimately you become a guna brahmana. Even in terms of enticing, telling that you will earn punyam by chanting this, you will earn punyam by doing this puja, at least that becomes a starting point. And then the final one for Karma Yoga is that it becomes a foundation for Upasana Yoga and Jnana Yoga. It becomes a foundation, just like what I keep referring to the medicine example, that the body gets prepared to accept that medicine, so that the full effect of that medicine will be there, so that we do not then blame the doctor for that, or we do not blame the medicine for that. Because if my foundation is not proper, I'm referring back to the example of that object at the bottom of the water, that if there is a malam, if there is dirt in that water, and if I do not know that there is dirt in the water, because of which I'm not able to see that, that's the first thing which I need to clear. So here I refer to the dirt in the water. Imagine there is dirt in the eye, and I keep blaming the water, or I say that no, this object is not there. Somebody else who's able to see it clearly is telling me there is an object, but I am arguing again and again, telling that no, there is no object because of the dirt which is there within me. So Karma Yoga, the benefit is in terms of giving the foundation for the next step, the second and third step of Upasana Yoga and Jnana Yoga. This is an elaborate topic, as I said. This is again the gist of that. So are there any questions from this particular topic, or any other two topics which were discussed in the previous classes?
Hari Om, Krishnaji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. My question is, while we know that these are the 5 yajnas we are following, how important is the intention? Does it play a role that we do it sincerely? Of course, we are supposed to do every action sincerely, but suppose these are the things which are ordained for us. If we don't have prasada buddhi, then we do it just because it's been ordained. And half-heartedly, or you don't do it with full applying yourself fully, half-heartedly or unwantingly. Oh, idella panna sollirkale, that's why I have to do it. So it will not give you, it will not take you to the goal for which we are supposed to do that, right? So I just want to know, yes, we are following a few things, but then half-heartedly panna, it will not definitely give us a phalam. Then how to approach this? I mean,
Very good question. See, again, let me refer to the example of children. All right? Even when we were children, or to our children also, so we just tell them, just sit and chant this. There's a prescription which is given, which was given to us, and we tell the same thing to them. Even in schools, learn this by heart, right? Because at that stage of their physical and mental capability, they do not have the intellect to understand why they are doing this or what is the effect of that. Therefore, for that situation, they are just told, just do it. Right? Now, the problem or the challenge is that as adults, we think that we know everything. We think that our intellect is fully developed. Right? But we are also children for different aspects. We are also children in the sense that we are in various stages of understanding. A new skill which I want to pick up today, I have to act as if I am a child. I have to just follow the instructions initially. But the challenge is that since we are adults, we think that I would be able to understand everything before doing that. I will not be. I will not be. I have been driving for so many years, and I had the chance to drive an electric vehicle. I was completely challenged. I was completely challenged. So whatever knowledge I had and experience I had of driving another vehicle was completely a zero in front of this new skill which I need to pick up. So I have to be a child there to say that just follow the instruction which are given. And once I practice that, then I can start analyzing, oh, if I want to know more, if I want to know more. But my goal of driving that vehicle is again going from point A to point B. Just following the instruction which somebody has given me, it is helping me to reach my goal. Whether I understand how the vehicle works or how different it is from the other vehicle, whether I understand it or not, it is going to help me reach my goal. But if I want to understand more about it, I still can do it, but it will take time for me. I have to give that much of time for that. So therefore, anything which is prescribed for us, it is not necessary that I have to understand the meaning or the purpose of each and it is not possible in this human life to understand and study everything what we need to do. However, it is good to do that, especially in today's, again, I'm coming back to the context, again, Aklaji, we're all teaching children for a long time, where these questions will come from them, right? From our own children will question, right? One of the most enjoyable thing which I do today is having a one-to-one chat with teenagers, where they have questions and I encourage them to ask questions. So it is good that if we understand that, but the other part which you raised is about the acceptance and the intent. So just again I'm referring back to medicine. That one of the first thing they say is that we have to accept that this medicine will work for me, then only it will cure me. That's one of the biggest thing, which is attitude which is required. So similarly in an action also, again, comes back to karma yoga in terms of, yes, I have been told that I should do this. I accept it. I know there is a pain involved. I know there is an additional expense which is involved. I know I will not be able to do what I like to do during the same time. I accept it. The prasada buddhi comes from that. The Ishwararpana buddhi comes from that stage itself. Right? Hope I have answered your question.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this
Thank
is
you.
a question which will keep coming again and again.
Yeah, somewhere then that satisfaction of having done it fully, it doesn't come because it is not an individual person's decision as well. Like as a grihastha, it is a joint thing, right? Your partner does something and you are supporting him in that. So I am not allowed to do or it's not in my list of duties to do a few things. Like, for example, Shardam, the background. That's why I raised this question. Every time it comes, then, because of health reasons or various reasons, there is a reluctance to go through that pain, what you said. That acceptance which was there before is not there now 100%. So, I mean, sometimes you feel, why are we even going through this? Will it be effective? Like you said, yes. Just by without even knowing the meaning, we do a few things because our parents have told us. But now, when there is no intention, also, or when you are not doing it fully committed to what it is, then is it even, I mean, should we even do it? Or, is it even effective? Or, going through that motion, is it even necessary, or is it even should we even do it? And the question was like, so yes, we go through that with Shraddha, and that, please forgive us for all having all these thoughts, and then, accept it with whatever we are doing. That's the prayer then every time we go through that. So adnala, like, reluctance irunda, will it give you the phalam, or I am just thinking, when you go through the process, maybe it will give you strength for next time. That is a prayer. Blessings in the strength varum, and we can go through it uh, more smoothly next time. But that is not happening. So, adnala, there is a reluctance every time, and it's not creating good energies. Like, ayyo na pannaname, oh panna mudiyale, So that
So
is why
this
the
is where
question I had.
this is where the power of repetition comes. The mind
Ah,
is a slave of repetition. The body is a slave of repetition. So if you look
hmm,
at, say, training for sports or the army,
hmm, hmm.
there is a ritual which is there, which is prescribed.
Correct,
You like
correct,
it or
correct.
not, you have to get up every day and
Yes,
do this.
yes, yes.
The goal is to win that medal, the Olympic medal. But
Mm, mm,
if the athlete starts questioning every day, oh, how is this going to help me?
mm,
They
mm.
would just be told, just do it, just do it, right?
Yes,
It is
yes.
an incremental change which we will not be able to measure, which we will not, just like again
Measure.
coming back to our health. Okay, we say, oh, walking is good for your health. They will show me the result every day. You will not be able to
Oh,
see,
correct, correct, correct.
right? So certain things, even if we say that, oh, there is a pain involved in terms of getting up every day morning and doing this and doing this. Again, that is where the Shraddha comes in. Shraddham
Shraddha. I was
also
thinking
comes
of
from the
that.
word
Yes, yes,
Shraddha.
yes, yes, yes.
So Shraddha is not again blind acceptance in terms of telling that
Mm,
the acceptance that, yes, this is going to help me reach my goal.
mm, mm, mm.
So
Okay.
Shraddha in myself, Shraddha in the Shastras, Shraddha in the Gurus, Shraddha in the process, you know.
Process. Mm,
So certain things when we continue to do over a period of time, it will generate punyam to ensure that I get the attitude and the acceptance and the right understanding. So for that, we have to
mm.
start the process. So
Correct, correct, correct.
yeah,
I continue with what we do with Shraddha and trust the process. Yes. Mm, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
any other questions?
Good morning, Krishnaji. May I add a small opinion of mine in this context?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah. See, this is also a kind of inner war which happens in me. What Miss Akila Sridhar also was talking about it. So there was certain context or a few guidelines which I have received that when the circumstances are not with us and we wish to do it, and that's what Ms. Akila Sridharji was telling about it. So I would surrender, and then I will leave it to my guru over there at that particular point. Yes, there will be so much of conflicts happening with me in that particular time period and all those things. But I still want to do it. I sincerely want to be a participant in that. I'm not a doer, but a participant. So I leave it at my guru, and then I request him please help me out to take this forward. So how yeah, so that's what I want to add from my level.
Your
Very
Shraddha
good.
in your Guru has helped you to, find that Shraddha in you and find that strength in you to continue the process. That's
I
what
do
you're
that,
saying.
and it helps me out. It gives me a lot of peace and a lot
Yes.
of what do you say? Yes, it doesn't demoralize me. That particular time, even though I am not in that particular
Frame of mind, you can say.
wavelength, but still I'm happy. I'm happy that at least my Guru has taken me over, and then kept me there.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Mm.
Very good. So
Thank you.
this is exactly what we discussed in say, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi.
Yeah.
So the Guru's words we are taking as Ishvara's words, as coming, prescribed in the scriptures. So when that bhavana is there, definitely that acceptance is there. Therefore, it definitely eases that pain in terms of telling that, yes, I have that Shraddha. Again, it comes back to Shraddha. I have Shraddha in my Guru. I have Shraddha in the Shastras. I have Shraddha in the process. And therefore, I'm able to do that. Yes, Ishwarji.
Hari Om Krishnan. My question is basically whenever we're trying to do good things, there's a lot of roadblocks, whether it is Shraddham or whether it is any kind of good practices or to help somebody or to do something good. We find there's a lot of obstacles, but whereas to other than good, it's so easy to get deviated very easily. But whereas when we are practicing good, there are so many obstacles coming in. Is it something which is under our purview, or how do we actually overcome those kind of situations so that we have a seamless kind of a experience when we are trying to do good things, maybe for ourselves or even for others?
As I mentioned, we start any action with the expectation that yes, it has to go in the same manner which I want it to be, I planned it to be, and it should give the result what I expected. However, the result is not 100% in our hands. Any action, it is not in our hands. So even the acceptance of whatever comes, yes, I did all the planning, I want to do this, but on that particular time, that particular month, that particular year, it did not happen the way I wanted. Therefore, I had to compromise. So even acceptance of that is the prasada buddhi. Again, we have to analyze ourselves. Did I do everything what was in my control, my best effort to make it happen? But still it did not give me the result. I was not able to do it, or I did it, but it did not give me the result. I should be able to accept it as the prasadam without any guilt or later regret telling that, that why did it happen this way? Or why was I not able to do in the manner which it was prescribed? We should not have that guilt. We have to move on in terms of telling that, okay, there maybe I need to put in more effort. Maybe I need to consult somebody else. Maybe I need to do it differently. Right? Because again, coming back to the context of what happens in our daily life, we always say that the same action in the same manner will give only the same result. Right? So maybe we need to change certain things. Even in terms of medicine, sometimes we say, okay, this has not worked. Probably I need it. There is some change which is required. So that continue to do with the right attitude. Again, we should have the satisfaction. our own appraisal telling that, yes, I have done whatever possible in the best possible way, which was in my control. Still, the result is not what I expected. Therefore, I accept it.
Thank you. And regarding the Shraddham also, like there are different versions, especially people, I don't know, I mean, I'm a little bit confused at times, but nevertheless, I keep continuously performing the Shraddham. People say that if when you're living abroad, living your home country, the effectiveness of the Shraddham is, I mean, it loses its effectiveness. It's not preferred or something like that. There are different kind of versions. People have different connotations, but is there any kind of a rule or something that you'd have to perform in your home country only, or you can perform even overseas?
Yes, this is a topic which is discussed very widely now. Again, it comes back in terms of the desha, kala, sthalam, everything has got an effect. Why is it prescribed that yes, that we should visit our Kuladevam at least once a year, do the pujas which are there? It is again because it connects us to Deva Yajna and Pitri Yajna, right? Because we are connected. We are here because of our forefathers. We are connected, and therefore that entire energy has to be synchronized at all points of time. That's why we say that even when we do the Shraddham, we do it for three generations, in the lineage, right? So yes, there is a increasing belief that yes, it may not give the same result when it is done in a different place. So therefore, am I able to, first of all, do I have the intent of doing it back in my home place where it is supposed to be done? Am I able to do? Is it within my control? To the extent possible, can I go and do it there? If we really analyze, yes, it is possible. However, there is a pain involved, right? In terms of taking leave, there is expense involved, there is effort which is involved. So it comes back to pain. Am I able to accept that pain for doing it the right way? Yes, during COVID, there was no other option. The travel was not possible. Therefore, we can say that the external circumstances forced me to do it in some other place, right? But all the other opportunity which is there, am I able to do it? Did I exercise my full free will there to take that pain, to undergo that pain, to have that additional expense, to sacrifice a couple of days to do that? If I'm able to do it, all the more better. But you are right in terms of, because it all comes back in terms of place and time, because it is connected to the energy. The entire thing again comes back to the synchronization of the energy.
Thank you.
There are no other questions for today. We can conclude, but please, this is the topic. As I mentioned, a lot of questions will come. Please keep posting the questions so that we address them. It's very important that we get answers. I may not be in a position to provide all answers, but the intention is that yes, we increase our understanding so that we all get benefited and we all achieve the goals which we have set for ourselves. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.